Hello, this is Wmpyr. All right, I was asked a question. Basically, this person left a comment saying that they practice the Heaven 6, and they were wondering that when you go to empty hands, empty hands, it only becomes arm. In other words, they're unable to put their body into it, and they're basically asking me about that. And yeah, okay, so when you're going from weapons and you're able to put your body into it, and then you go to empty hands and all of a sudden you're unable to put your body into it, there's something wrong there, right? So what we want is, it's a very excellent question. What we want is, when you're using the weapons, put your body into it. And when you're not using the weapons, you still want to put your body into it. So yeah, that they need to definitely fix that. That's not good, right? Um, why? Well, in the Filipino way of thinking, whether it's a stick, a collapsible baton, an umbrella, a machete, a one-handed sword, a knife, a tactical flashlight, a bottle, it doesn't matter what you got, right? Those are all weapons. Those are all variations. So their method of thinking, the one system, so you're still using the Heaven 6 regardless of the weapon. And if when you go to empty hand, it's not all of a sudden weapons versus empty hand. Which one did you pick? No, this is considered a weapon too. So whether it's this, a spear hand, a chop, claw, palm slap, palm heel, we don't care. Each one of those is a weapon. So we're viewing it, the Filipinos view all of that as a weapon. So it doesn't matter what the weapon is, you still should be having the proper Heaven 6 form. And this is the genius and the brilliance of the Filipinos, is that this is the reason why they start with weapons. They start you off with weapons because you have to go with power. When you swing a stick, you are going to put your body into it because it's long, and you're holding something. It's naturally going to happen. That's super genius. If you did it with empty hand, you're just moving your hand like you're reaching out to grab a doorknob. So that's why they start you with weapons, so that you can put your body behind it. Now, will you ever do only hands? Yeah. In combat, sure. There's plenty of times where it turns into, don't put your body behind it, just go hands, because it's quicker, okay? Or it doesn't telegraph. So what you have to understand, though, is if you learn speed first, okay, it's very easy to have terrible form. But if you learn power first, and then when you need speed, you just put less of your body in there, and you could always adjust to speed, no problem. So that is the standard way of thinking, and I agree with it. I think it's genius. I think it's brilliant. So start with power, don't start with speed. Ultimately in combat, you need both. You need power and speed. Okay, so I hope that's a clear-cut answer. And this is why we do things the way we do things. So if you're having a difficulty when you're going with the sticks, you feel power, and then when you go to hands, you don't feel power. Well, now you know why they do that, why they teach you that. And you want to get to the point where when you go to hands, you can still put in the power. You still feel power. Okay, so the first thing I would just recommend is more reps. That's the easiest answer. Get more reps. Let me go into a little bit more detail with that. When I go empty hands, in my brain, I still feel like I'm holding a weapon, whether it's a stick or a knife. I can feel it. I can feel it in my hand, like a person that's been amputated, and they still imagine like their arm is still there. So that is what I call ghost sticks, the level of ghost. You've done so much practice and training that even when you don't have weapons, you still feel like I feel like I can feel the knife. I can feel that right now it's in the reverse grip right here, and I can go with the circular motions, boom, boom. I can slash, I can carve, I can stab, I can do all of that, even though there is no knife. In my brain, I feel it, right? So that is the ghost sticks level, or ghost knives, or whatever. But you want to get to that level. How do you get there? Repetition. Just tons and tons and tons of repetition. That's the quickest, best way that I know for that. So once you get to ghost sticks, that will help you. The other thing that will help to help you get power, even if you're empty-handed, is what Professor Bram Frank calls body shifting. So body shifting, when you do the Heaven6, is typically done with number 1 and number 4. They're mirror opposites of each other. So Heaven6, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's this twist, twist, twist right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So on 1 and 4, you could do the body twisting. Honestly, you could do the body twisting on any of them. You could do it on 1, you could do it on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, and 6. Or you could do on 1 and 6, 2 and 4, 5 and whatever, 5 and 1, 5 and, all combinations, all of that. Or you could do it on every single one. And if you do it on every single one, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. But that is the body shifting. Okay. The next thing I have to explain is that back when I learned Filipino martial arts, okay, I was also doing full contact fighting. And not competing, but in the dojo, we did full contact sparring. So that means we had punches, kicks, we had elbows and knees, and throws. That was all good. The kick could be done to the face, but you can't punch the face. That was pretty much the rules. And very, very minimal protective gear. It was just a mouthpiece and a cup, and that was it. So when I was doing that, I wanted to use this badly. So this is junior high and high school around this time. I wanted to use what I just learned, the Filipino martial arts, the Heaven6. I wanted to use that in here. And I mean, my instructor said, this can be used for empty hands as well. You don't need weapons. And I was like, well, I want to use it here because I have to do full contact sparring. So, let me use it. I knew that I couldn't. And I knew that if I even tried, that I would get beat up bad. So, unfortunately, at that time, I had to say to myself that I am unable to figure this out, how to use it for empty hand in full contact. So at this point in my life, the Filipino martial arts I learned is only for weapons, not for empty hand. Even though it's also designed for empty hand, me personally wasn't able to do it. So then years later, went to college. So when I went to college, I had a little bit of Muay Thai background where we did a tiny bit of boxing, right? And actually that was in junior high and high school. I did a tiny bit of Muay Thai, had a little bit of boxing in there. And then in college, I did a tiny bit of Savat, which also had boxing in there. And I also did actual boxing, so a little bit. So when you combine the three of them, okay, so I have this much boxing, right? But I took it very, very seriously, even though it was this much. And that experience really helped me as to figuring out. There were other things that helped me, but that really helped me figure out. That was the start of how do I use Heaven6, other Filipino martial arts techniques for full contact. To figure out, to go from sticks and knives to empty hand. How do I make that transition? The answer, what I'm telling you, ultimately for me, was boxing. To do actual boxing training. It's the sparring, the mitts, the focus mitts, the the heavy bag, the medium bag, the light bag, the reflex bag, the speed bag, all of that, the jump rope, all do real boxing as much as you can and still be safe, because honestly, it is not a safe sport. It is not a safe art, you know. Um, yeah. So get as much of it as you can and get out as fast as you can, because you don't want brain damage, you don't want organ damage. You know, you get injured because it's a combat sport. Every combat sport, you're going to get injured. So that's the problem with all combat sports. Um, but yeah, that seriously for me was the best answer, was to train in boxing. And then when I started doing that, my Heaven6 evolved, and it got to the point where I felt comfortable enough that I could go up against a boxer or a kickboxer. Of course, there's guys that are so freaking good that I would never be able to touch them. But if they are at my level, I finally got comfortable enough to where I'm like, I can use FMA in the world of full contact, finally. And that was thanks to boxing. And I did. I was able to do it. So yeah, at that point, what changes? Well, your perspective completely, because if you've really been training in boxing, you know the required timing, the speed, you know how much power you're actually hitting the punching bag over and over. So you understand all of that, and only then can you make that proper transition from sticks to empty hand, in my opinion. So ultimately, get to the boxing, and then when they come together, you'll get dirty boxing, Filipino dirty boxing. So to me, that is a win-win situation. I highly recommend it. But for now, I recommend just do a ton of reps, put in that enough reps to where you get the ghost sticks level. You want to get there, and then also put in the body shifting. Okay. So I hope that helps. That's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.